One main factor. The main factor is the accumulation of what you do today will show and reveal your future. The accumulation of what you do today will reveal your future. So if you accumulate a bunch of goofy stuff, you're going to get goofy. Well, hey, we're about to talk about some art, and you're just in time. You're just in time. Glory be to God. Okay, I am going to just kind of go over a few things, and it's kind of a review, but not really. So this is something that I think that, especially with young artists, I think that there's all this potential out there for you to do so much, right? So much. So if you wanted to, for example, get into game development, if you wanted to get into music and music theory, if you wanted to get into, almost just whatever at this point in time, then there is a YouTube video or something like that is available to you. Now, some of these you have to pay a little bit of money for. You kind of look at it as investing into yourself, and that's the thing that you ought to do, is invest into yourself. So if something costs a certain amount of money for you to gain the information for you to go where you need to go, then that is fine. This doesn't mean that everything is a scam and after your money all the time. It doesn't mean that, because, college was a useful thing at one point in time and kind of questionable now. But, it was a really good thing until the government came in there and helped you out in terms of subsidizing it. So it's like, oh, we can just charge more money, and and then, humans started human all over it. Anyway, you'll encounter some of those things, but not all of them. Anyway, but I would recommend going to YouTube, because usually to someone who is going to give you a big amount of the game, literally, or just give you a step-by-step breakdown of how to do something, okay? So if you're stuck about, okay, where do I start with blah, 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 blah? Okay, we'll start here. No, my algorithm is wild, so, leave me alone. All right. So anyway, so let's say that you want to do some game development. So let's do a game building tutorial. Okay, there it is right there. All right. As a beginner, so you're going to have these, I'm not looking for necessarily one where it's more explainer in terms of, kind of walking through what you would need. There are some videos out here where it's just a straight up A to Z process. Those are the ones I'm looking for. So you keep on scrolling until you find yourself one of them. Okay, this is where I kind of mixed up at, my bad. I need to put in which engine you're going to be using. This is very important. So if you want to make a game in Unity, if you want to make a game in Game Maker, in whatever, then you need to put in Godot. If you want to put in how to make a game in any of those things, you need to go ahead and put in the engine that you want, and then you'll start coming up with better results. So that's my bad in terms of our first foray into the things. But you see right here, this is what you want. You want screenshots and just some guy walking you through step by step. See that? Step by step into the process. See where you see the menu right there? Oh man, I'm able to see it because of my face. See that? That's what you want. Someone just walk you through on Unity, and there are these wonderful guides out here that just, break it down all the way down. See that? And you just do maybe a module, maybe a chapter or whatever it is every day. Don't worry about what you did yesterday and what you're going to do tomorrow. Just today. When you worry about all these things about what's going to happen in the future and blah, 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 that causes anxiety. They call that, I think it's a great name, future tripping. Future tripping. Okay, so you don't want to future trip all over yourself. You just want to go to, let's say you wanted to do something in Game Maker. Game Maker, okay? Because software is going to be important. I don't care what AI has to say about that. Software is going to be important. Because remember, AI can't count. As of right now, AI cannot count. It cannot count to 100. Okay? So, you're probably going to need human intervention at some point in time when it comes to any of these technologies. Just like you still needed human intervention when it came to things like motion tweening for your animations. You still needed a little bit of that human touch to go ahead and stretch and squish the animation so it looks more like an animation. Okay? So yes, you can do an arm from here to here, and yes, the monitor can be right here and then it lands right here, and you can reduce frames, but this little part right here, you only do here. That's why it looks robotic. But here, it's different. Okay? Squishing and squashing. Very, very important. Squishing and squashing is very, very important. So, you're going to need that in AI especially. So it is still going to be important for you to learn how to do things like make a game. What is your code? What does your code look like? All those things. Okay? Here's some chapters right here too. So how do you do these things? Okay. Now, if you want to do some art stuff, step by step, how about how to do acrylics? Let's do that. Step by step about how to do acrylics. Yeah, see? Guys, it's all here. It's all here, It's all here. But like I said, the thing that interferes with it is your future tripping. Your future tripping. Now, here is something that I thought was interesting. Okay, I typed in, what is the psychological description for future tripping? That's the slang term for it. But it's actually something called anticipatory anxiety. Okay? Anticipatory anxiety. That is cognitive ruminations. Your brain gets stuck in a loop of forecasting negative events and replaying potential problems that have not happened. Illusions of control. The mind tries to over-engineer the unknown, operating on false belief that worrying hard enough will somehow protect or control the outcome. State of hypervigilance. The nervous system reacts as if the imagined threat is happening right now, triggering stress, panic, and fatigue. I'm sure this sounds familiar to a lot of people, myself included. Right? This is why I stress the way that I do about every day. Because if you can just do a module of this every day, and some people have full playlists and breakdowns, you can just do this every day instead of trying to anticipate everything else. You'll be okay. You'll get to where you're trying to get to. Because you can't control that stuff anyway. You can do everything right and it still go wrong. You can do everything wrong and it still go right. Why? Because of one main factor. The main factor is the accumulation of what you do today will show and reveal your future. The accumulation of what you do today will reveal your future. So if you accumulate a bunch of goofy stuff, you're going to get goofy. If you accumulate a bunch of productivity and good action and things like that, you're going to get the opportunity eventually to display that. So does that mean that everything else in your life is going to go all right? No. But that skill set that you have, that's something that you have. But you can't develop it if you're future tripping all the time, right? If you're having anticipatory, as in anticipating all these awful things happening to you all the time, it's like, no. You actually have a greater deal of agency than you would think, right? It's not about something happening to you. It's can you handle it in the moment? And when you're always trying to avoid that moment, this is why you know that you'll never be able to handle it. You have no practice in it. You have no skin in the game on that. So you have to actually focus in on today when something happens to you, when something that's inconvenient, and usually what it is inconvenience more than anything else. But when something happens to you today, is about, okay, can I focus in on what I need to focus in on today and still get it done? That's really it. And I focus today. Am I going to let this stop me today, or am I going to deal with the inconvenience and then get back to it and figure it out from there? Have you decided? Because deciding means to cut off the other choice. Is no different than what you did when you decided to go to that really expensive concert or show or bought that game or that game console or whatever else. It's the same thing. Same idea. You didn't have any money. You didn't have any resources. Sometimes y'all didn't even have a car. And y'all didn't have, the $500 for that concert that you went to see Beyonce. Beyonce. So like you didn't have any of that. And your brain figured it out because you decided you were going to go. You decided you were going to go. So if it can do it towards things that are just kind of fun and silly or hobby-esque or whatever it is, why can't you apply that same mentality to your life? Just figure it out. Why? Because when you decide to figure it out, your brain will absolutely kick into overdrive and figure it out. It's really remarkable. It only stops when it holds its own ceiling. So if you just believe that that's completely impossible, then it stops at the ceiling of your belief, or how big a scale that you think that the actual problem is, right? So if you think that, for example, man, I'm going to make $5 today, but $5 is a lot of money. Okay, that's your cap. You believe that $5 is a lot of money. So that's your cap. Because it feels that way. Right? Again, these are beliefs. These are things that don't necessarily have to be true or factual. They just are what they are. People believe, some artists out there who make masterpieces, they believe they still suck. And objectively, they don't. But compared to what's in their mind, what they believe is that it still is not what they have in their own mind and heart, so therefore, they still suck. This is the thing. Belief doesn't have to actually... Belief is more of a vibe than it is anything based on, like, facts or whatever. That's more dealing with information and then making a decision. That's more reason. But belief is completely like an abstraction. It's very interesting what belief actually is. So you believe that $5 is... Okay. He's like, well, I would make $5 a day, but that's impossible. Okay, you're right. You're right. If you believe you can make $500 a day, you're right. You're right. And your brain will figure it out. And then sometimes it will stop it because, it's like, well, if I just rob this old lady, no, don't do that. It's called consequences in jail. Don't do that. So all I'm saying is this. The anticipatory anxiety that you feel is based off of trying to prepare for bad things happening, or even trying to cover up or anticipate bad things that happened to you before in the past. Abuse is real. There's a lot of people who went through abuse. And yes, some of y'all's parents suck, right? Some of y'all family members suck. Some of y'all had a crappy childhood. Some of y'all had a crappy school that you went to. Some of y'all had a crappy teacher that did... This is real. And you're never going to plan ever enough in the way that you think you need to in order to prevent bad things from happening. What you can do, though, is become the person that has the skill set, the social skills, things like that, in order to, when those type of things might be beginning to happen, you'll see it, you'll know it, and you'll have developed enough of a self-image to where you're not going to be the person that can be victimized all the time. Because the thing that people don't understand about predatory behavior, the predators tell you. They'll sit there and tell you. You can look on YouTube, they'll sit there and tell you what they look for when it comes to them preying on somebody. They'll tell you. They said, but they look for someone with a bad posture, as in their head's always down, and they look for someone who's always alone. Are you still that same person? Because that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who is alone all the time, and someone who has a bad posture, as in they have their head down. Their posture, their self-image sucks. That's why their head's always down, and they look a certain kind of way. Predators identify you as prey. They'll tell you. Look it up on YouTube sometime. Matter of fact, do that now. And here we go. Predators give their testimony. Okay, look. See it right there. He lets you know. They're out there. They'll let you know. The psychological profile, they're there. Are you still that person? Let's get this guy out of here, because, Jesus. Are you still that person? No. I just need you to focus in on what you can do today. Are you thinking better about yourself today? Are you doing some more working out to be strong? What are you doing today? That's it. Did you practice your artwork today? Did you go into one of your modules for your game making stuff? Did you do that today? Did you talk to someone today? Did you learn how to talk to someone today? And just know that they're just people. And based on what they did in the past, did you talk to someone today? Just to say hey and go from there. Did you do that today? Did you read a little bit? Did you read some books to help you out with some social cues and things like that? Did you read some books to help you out with socialization? Did you do that today? What did you do today? That's it. You don't have to stack it all on top of each other all at once. What did you do today? What did you do today? Okay, that's my time. I love y'all very much. Lord willing, I will catch you in the remix. And you don't have to future trip. You can be prepared for the future based on what you do today. And just let today accumulate, and then you will become the person that deep down you've always wanted to be, but you were too scared to be because you didn't want to maybe draw the attention or whatever. It's like, no. The abusers are looking for people who look easy to abuse. And they know who you are. And they know who you are in government. They know who you are at your job. They know who you are. Just don't be a sucker out there. Be an artist, but don't be a sucker. All right. Love y'all.